Please welcome to the stage David Hsu, Retool CEO.
Good morning, and welcome to the first ever Retool Summit. It is incredible seeing all of you today at SFJAZZ. Looking out, I see customers, partners, community members, all of you who are building the software that makes the world go round. Welcome. For the past few years, we've been hosting virtual events to show you all what's new at Retool. And we called these Dev Days. And they were great. But this year demanded something more. We wanted to bring the Retool community together in person to focus on one thing: how to help you all build the best possible internal software. And so we've packed today's agenda with amazing content. You'll hear about our product roadmap. You'll get hands-on with labs. You'll discover how organizations are solving previously intractable problems with Retool. And throughout the day, you'll get to meet other Retool users. And at the end of it, you'll enjoy a unique performance that blends music and AI. In just a few minutes, I'll be announcing something groundbreaking, something that I think will change how every single one of you build in Retool. The energy in this room is electric. We are so excited to have you all here. Let's get started. So when we started Retool 7 years ago, it was out of a deep personal frustration. My co-founder and I are both engineers, and we spent so much time building internal software. It was agonizing. We were building the same stuff over and over again. Admin dashboards, approval queues, customer support tools, all of these had the exact same building blocks. We were constantly reinventing the wheel. And as lazy engineers, we thought to ourselves, there's got to be a better way. And so we built Retool. And you can see, that's our first landing page up there. The pattern to us is so clear. Every internal tool required authentication, authorization, database connections, caching, UI components, audit logs, and so much more. Developers were spending so much of their time reconstructing identical foundations. The same work repeated everywhere with zero leverage. We were inspired by AWS. AWS transformed programming by abstracting away servers, storage, and networking, freeing companies to focus on their actual differentiation. And so we believed the application layer needed that similar kind of abstraction. And so we built Retool for ourselves. But pretty quickly, we learned the problem was bigger than we thought. Because it turned out we were solving a huge problem. Internal software runs the world. Every package that is delivered, every prescription that is filled, every mortgage that gets approved, all of that runs on internal software. It is the backbone of our global economy. And yet, so many internal tools are slow, buggy, frustrating to use. It really is shocking how low the quality of the average internal tool is. Here, I've clipped a bunch of real news headlines showing just how bad it can be. Check these out. When the FAA system goes down, planes can't fly. When your pharmacy, when their software doesn't work. you can't get your medication. Or when it's really bad, your doctor might tell you that you have cancer, even when you don't have cancer. What a shitty internal tool. So as the Retool business grew, we learned that our platform was not just helping developers build software faster, but it was helping them build higher quality software too. And so that is our goal, to help you build the very best internal software so you all can go run your businesses and make the world go round. That is what gets me out of bed every morning. Let me just share two stories. Paris, July 2024. Imagine this, 10,000 athletes descending on your city, 206 nations, each with specific security protocols, diplomatic requirements, religious dietary restrictions, medical equipment. The math is staggering. 15,000 daily vehicle movements between 3 airports, 12 Olympic villages, and 42 venues. One delayed basketball team means rescheduling an entire tournament bracket. The traditional solution? An army of coordinators with clipboards and walkie-talkies. Excel sheets updated every hour. Printed, but obsolete by the time they're printed. WhatsApp groups exploding with messages that no one can track. Chaos. And so the Paris Olympics, in just a few weeks, created a living, breathing operations platform, all in Retool. Real-time flight tracking with GPS, instant delegation updates, real-time calculations of ETAs, everything connected, everything visible, everything instant. This would have been impossible in a spreadsheet or any other platform. They had Retool apps for tracking every single flight, every single bus, every single athlete. And the result? The Olympics went off without a hitch. Everybody was in the right place at the right time. Even the French were surprised. Retool didn't just move data, it moved athletes. It helped deliver one of the world's largest events. These are the kinds of internal tools that run the world. Or consider the University of Texas medical branch. They have a big hospital system. Prior to using Retool, their pathology team could only process 50 toxicology reports a week. That's it. So what happens when more than 50 people wanted reports? I don't know. I guess they just had to wait, I guess. Well, their chief AI officer, Dr. Peter McCaffrey, decided to use Retool to solve this problem. Without coding knowledge, he built a HIPAA-compliant, self-hosted Retool app that uses AI to interpret results. Now, instead of delivering just 50 results per week, they deliver 500. That's a 10 times increase in patient capacity. It means that more patients are getting the data they need to make the right decision. And not only are they delivering more results, they're also more accurate than before. This is software with real-world human impact. And that is what is so motivating to all of us at Retool. And today, over 10,000 companies globally use Retool to run their businesses and accomplish their missions. And we are so grateful for every single one of them and every single one of you that has come to our summit today. But as many of you know, software engineering is undergoing a fundamental shift. A technology has emerged that is changing how we all build. Of course, I'm talking about large language models. LLMs are really smart. They can be so helpful for software development. They are so good at translating natural language into code, so good at exploring a space of ideas, in generating prototypes. So good at auto-completing code. LLMs really speed up development. And now, LLMs are being used to generate full applications. Describe the app you want, and in just a few minutes, you've got an app. It almost feels like magic. That's why we're seeing tons of new AppGen startups allowing almost anyone to go create a front-end app. These tools are amazing for inspiration, but that's the thing. In most cases, they only create prototypes. That's because if you look under the hood, you'll see they're missing what's most important to enterprises. They don't connect to your real data. They don't understand your enterprise security policies. They don't use your design systems. They just aren't built for the enterprise. And so what happens if AI is deployed in your business without the proper guardrails? It can create some pretty serious problems. For example, it might go rogue and just drop your production database. It's so bad that we're kind of embarrassed showing the name of the company, so we had to blur it out, actually. But it's a vibe coding product you've probably heard of. And so while LLMs are great for some things, they're not so great at others. Generative AI is fast and creative, but if it's not connected to your business data, it's just not really that useful. And if it doesn't obey your security guardrails, you just can't use it. These AppGen products are really great for building a fun app for your kids, for your friends, for prototyping, but that's not enough. Because what all of us care about in this room, what all of you care about, is production internal software. And while the bar to prototype has dropped, the bar to shipping a production application hasn't changed. What enterprises really need is a trusted, scalable, secure platform to build with AI inside of their organizations. Well, I've got great news, because that's exactly what Retool has spent the last 6 years building. We've been obsessed with solving these boring but really hard last-mile problems with software development. The data connectivity, security, governance, deployment, the very things that turn an LLM-generated application into a production-ready application. Think of it this way. What generative AI is bad at is precisely what Retool is good at. This makes Retool the perfect complement for generative AI. That's why I'm thrilled to make a big announcement today. Retool is now the world's first enterprise AppGen platform. Just a few minutes ago, our engineering team released a new capability that allows you to generate applications in Retool just by typing a simple prompt. If you visit our homepage on your desktop computer, you'll see the newly updated version. And you can quickly type a simple prompt. Let's say, create an app that helps me manage chore assignments for my 3 kids at home. That prompt goes directly into the Retool product, and in just a few minutes, there it is. In just a few words, we've created a working application. A parent can click around, change chore assignments, add new chores, mark them as completed. It even created a new database to store changes. Pretty cool, huh? What do you think? Well, no, not really. This is not very cool. This is old news, actually. Who cares about building this fun application for tracking chores? What would make this really cool is if it could build a real production application that actually runs your business, that actually integrates with your production data, that actually has security built in, that is hosted in your cloud, not a cloud environment you don't even use. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, let's try it. Let's go back to the homepage. Let's say that I work at a hospital, and I want to go build an application. Build me an approval queue for doctors to approve prescriptions using my Postgres data. There it is, This isn't just a front-end app. It actually writes back to your database. Retool will search for your resources, it will find the relevant tables, and it creates an app on top of that. And when you hit the approve button, it actually saves to your database, and the prescription status will change to approved. What's more, this is a Retool app. And so it inherits all the security policies you've already set up in Retool. So if you're a hospital, only doctors will be allowed to use this application. And every time they press approve, it is automatically logged in your audit logs. We believe this is the future of building internal software. This is what is available today in Retool. And we think this is how internal tools will be built at every enterprise. That's because if you look under the hood, you'll see there's 3 critical attributes that no other platform has. First, it's on your data. So Retool connects directly to your production databases and APIs, and we understand your actual schemas, your customers, your orders, your prescriptions. And so the generated apps are relevant from the very first prompt. Second, we're in your cloud. Whether you use our secure multi-tenant cloud or self-host Retool, your data never leaves your environment. You can generate apps in your cloud on your data. And third, it's secure. Because it's a Retool app, it automatically inherits all your org security policies already set up in Retool. It hooks in with Okta, your role-based access controls, and logs everything to the audit logs. You will never have to reveal secrets to people building a Retool. You shouldn't have to. It's all handled automatically. Governance is not an afterthought. It is the foundation. Over the last few months, we've invited around 100 customers to play around with building with AI and Retool. And Camila, this chief operating officer at Brex, said this: at Brex, speed and security aren't trade-offs. They're requirements. By adding AI that understands our actual data and security requirements, our teams can move at startup velocity while maintaining bank-grade governance. That's the power of an enterprise AppGen platform. And so these 3 attributes, on your data, in your cloud, secured by default, that is what we believe defines an enterprise AppGen platform. But AI is transforming not just how we build, but also who builds. We originally built Retool to help engineers. That's because my co-founder and I were both engineers. We couldn't find a product that combined the power of code with the composable building blocks that something like a Visual Basic offered. And so that's why we built Retool. We built it, and we invested a lot in power, flexibility, and escape hatches. And that's why engineers love Retool. And we know many of you here are software engineers. But we also know that many of you are not. In fact, we ran a survey earlier this year, and we're seeing a pretty fundamental shift in who is building internal software. In our survey, over half the builders were non-software engineers. They're your colleagues in data, operations, and product. And they are changing how we work. And over time, we actually expect that even more non-developers will be building software. This is critical because people and teams are being asked to do ever more with AI. In fact, a study found that over 2/3 of companies had issued AI mandates. Well, here's some really great news. When builders have access to an enterprise AppGen platform, they don't just meet expectations, they shatter them. Our survey revealed that 74% of Retool builders report exceeding their leadership's productivity expectations. With Retool, problems that took months now take days. I'm so inspired by one of our customers, Charlotte. Charlotte was an early Retool builder, and she's been promoted 4 times in 4 years because she's a builder and she solves problems. That is the power of Charlotte, plus an enterprise-grade and AppGen platform. So, really excited to have you all here. In the early 70s, when Apple just got started, a journalist asked Steve Jobs what the purpose of a computer was, and if it was true that all of us one day would have a computer. And Steve Jobs gave the analogy of, well, it's like a bicycle for the mind. But what he said after was that Apple is fundamentally a tool-making company. And Apple's mission is to create tools for all of their customers, such that all of their customers can leave a dent in their corner of the universe. And that's how I feel about Retool as well. That really resonates with me. Our mission is to help you create tools such that you all can accomplish your missions, make the world go round, and leave a dent in your corner of the universe. Whether it's treating more patients or transporting athletes for the Olympics and delivering a great global event. Everybody in this room is a builder. And you all are building the future. Let's go build. Thank you all for coming. We have so much more to show you. I'll now welcome to the stage Abhishek, who will walk us through our exciting product roadmap. Thank you.
Please welcome Retool Chief Product Officer Abhishek Gupta.
Thank you, David. And thank you, everyone, for coming to our first ever inaugural Retool Summit. We're so excited you're all here today. I'm Abhishek Gupta, Chief Product Officer here at Retool, and I'm really excited to walk you through where we're going today. AI is transforming businesses. It's creating an explosive demand for internal software. But there's a catch. If not harnessed correctly, its promise of greater productivity, more competitiveness, and more innovation may never materialize. Retool is a trusted platform that will help you build and deploy AI applications. We want to help you and your business win. So I want to show you a little bit about what we've been cooking this year, what's next, and what to expect. Now, when you're in an enterprise, this is typically the software development lifecycle you follow. First, you build. Then you scale. Then you manage. Then you automate. And for the last 6 years, we have been shipping capabilities every single day to support this. In fact, just the last year alone, we released over 75 new capabilities across security, governance, integrations, and one of my personal favorites, multi-page, to help you build some really complex applications. And this cycle is what a lot of builders like you do every single day. And so our roadmap is built for you. And so no matter where you are on this journey, we're going to support you. And this is how we're going to structure our conversation today. First, we'll talk about how do we help you build, taking your ideas into apps instantly. 2, we'll talk about how you scale consistently. How do you make sure that everything you're building is consistent and governed across your organizations? 3, we'll talk about how do you manage confidently? How do you make sure everything is secure and enterprise ready? And then finally, we'll talk about automating work. How do you transform your businesses? So by the end of the day, you'll have a really good idea of where we're going. Let's start with building instantly. How do you instantly and quickly take your ideas into production? Let's start with a problem that I think all of you in this room know far too well. Your best ideas are stuck. They're stuck waiting on someone else, stuck on a spreadsheet, stuck on the shelf somewhere. A business analyst I was speaking to more recently at an e-commerce company told me they had to wait 6 months to get an internal dashboard built because of how constrained their development resources were. That isn't just inefficient, it's a complete drag on your business. Decisions take forever, competitors are moving faster, and your best people, the ones closest to the problems, are blocked, and they might leave, and everybody hates it. Your best ideas should not have to wait for anyone. At Retool, we've always focused on helping builders just build. That's been our goal since day one. And when you land here, this page that you're all probably too familiar with, we make it super easy to build an app. We make it easy to get started, and we make it easy to ship something to production. But guess what? It's about to get faster. It's about to get better. As David mentioned earlier, we are now an AppGen platform. So now, when you land in Retool, you'll see Assist right here in the IDE. And all you have to do is use natural language to kick things off. It works, and it works for you, building an app instantly. So let me show you how it works. You can give it a prompt. Let's say I want to build a customer 360 dashboard across my Salesforce, Postgres data. So in this case, I gave it a prompt. I wanted a customer dashboard where I want to search, add, modify records on top of my Postgres database. All you have to do is enter it, and then we get to work. We start reasoning with your prompt. You can see we start understanding and sharing a plan for execution. Not just that, it understands your table schemas. It scaffolds a UI. And your queries are now automatically written, and your components are coming together. And so instantly, you have a production-ready application showing you how to use and access information about all of your customer data. And now that you have an app, it's working. So your team can use it. You can add data to it. It'll understand all of your logic across your filters and dropdowns. You can even start editing information, which you'll see here. Again, this is not a disposable prototype. This is not a family chore tracker app. It's an application working on your data, on your business logic. But let's say you wanted to go a step further. Let's say you wanted to brand it with your company's internal branding. Well, we've got Spotify in the audience today. Before I'm done even talking, it already branded it as a Spotify's branding, which is amazing. But let's say you know how to use Figma. You're a designer. Pretty soon, all you have to do is just upload a Figma file, and we will make your application look beautiful, and you'll be ready to go. And because Retool is the only platform where you can combine the power of code, drag and drop, and natural language, you will be able to simply click on containers and articulate and write what you want to do, and we'll apply it for you automatically. And if you want to collaborate with others, well, your team can also leave comments right here, and then we'll apply it for you. All of these things are done automatically. This is the power of Retool's AppGen platform. And the first time these AppGen capabilities can be used to bring software into production, deliver your software into production. It's on your data, on your cloud, and it's secure. And I'm so excited to share that this Assist is now available to all of you today, all of our cloud customers, and all of you using us on self-hosted. Now, you heard David mention earlier that we had about 100 customers using our private beta for this product earlier this year. One of those customers is Motive. Motive is an AI-powered integrated operations platform that drives meaningful and real accident reductions with drivers on the road. Hamish Woodrow, head of analytics at Motive, leads a team that supports thousands of users. But what's really great about Hamish he's a great example of this new class of builder. He's a business strategist, but a chemical engineer by training. And he's now shipping internal production software, which was unheard of years ago. So please, allow me to welcome Hamish to the stage to tell us more.
Please welcome Hamish Woodrow, Motive, Head of Strategic Analytics.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. And so today I'm going to cover a little bit on my philosophy and overall approach to how to actually integrate AI into data teams and actually be effective to scale it up. And at the base, our ambition is to build world-class internal data products. That's what we really want to go out and do. And at Motive, we have a really interesting set of data to do this with. So we have hardware data, we have vehicle telematics data, we have usage data on applications, on mobile, on web. We have our traditional CRM, we have subscription data, a huge wealth of data that makes it truly fascinating to work with as a data professional, but also makes it very complicated to deliver to front-end teams really high-quality applications or value. And I think this is, in general, one of the problems that I spend a lot of time thinking about is how do you actually leverage AI in a scalable way that actually delivers value to the business. And this is something that we've been working on and what we've been working also with the Retool team on. And one of the big bottlenecks we have is the analyst in the loop. Because of the complexity of the information that we're bringing together, we always have the analyst and data professional in building that data model, really understanding the business domain, the industry, how to link all this data together. And that's always a bottleneck towards getting and delivering value to kind of our customers, internal customers. And so this application layer has taken over years many different forms, from traditional software to custom-built applications. But actually, the delivery of this and the amount of people to deliver it is very complicated. And so this is kind of our approach. What does it actually mean to build world-class applications? So really, these are like the four components that we think about, which is, at the base, functionality and content. That's everything that's like the completeness of data. That's the consistency, latency of data. You've got performance and stability and security, foundational to any scalable products. In reality, you can build a lot of products, but if they don't have this middle layer of performance, stability, and security, you never scale it to thousands of people. And that's always been an impediment in getting good quality applications out there, has been this layer. And then you start going beyond this. It's usability, user experience. Like if you want to build high quality applications, it's got to be interactive. It's got to really think through the workflows that people do on a daily basis. How do you improve click-throughs in all the application? How do you get the right information to the person in the right way? And this always leveraged some sort of JavaScript or some sort of coding that usually moved far beyond what a data professional is going to be knowing deeply about. And finally, design and aesthetics. Truly, like if you want a great application to be used and adopted widely in the organization, you have to be consistent in your design, you have to be consistent in branding, you have to care about it. And that really is the difference between what is functionally a good data product to what is actually a used data product and highly adopted in our organization. And so when we look at it, ultimately the analyst's strengths, the data professional strength is in functionality and content. That's always their bread and butter. But as you move up, their strengths go away, and you won't find the value delivered. And that's the reality of these things. It's the last mile problem. The value generated is really that final application. Yes, the data is the foundation to it, but you can't deliver it if you're not getting people to use it. And so this is kind of how we've been thinking about how to apply AI. Is like we want the people with the greatest knowledge of a problem, the data models, the insights, building ML models on top of it, to be able to deliver products to our internal users in a much more effective way. And in general, this is how we want data professionals to act, to really increase their impact. And so what we see is, performance and stability. That's the kind of what we're looking for in terms of this walled garden of development within Retool. We want people to go out and build, but we want it to be done in a secure way. Or else what we run into is this problem of applications never scaling because they get blocked at security, or you can't enforce role-based access control. You can't enforce write permissions. you want to make that usability and user experience come in, and that's like effectively using different coding. And historically, you'll have a data analyst, data scientists copying code from different code snippets, pasting stuff in. Usually makes a pretty clunky application, doesn't really deliver. It's not their like prime value add. And so again, this is something we see AI being transformational and actually extending that capability of someone who's coming up with the ideas. And finally, the design and aesthetics. Universal design, I think about it a lot in terms of how can you, especially as you end up with very distributed teams across numerous geographies, interacting with many internal applications team, how do you get consistent design and aesthetics? And that's where AI is much better to be your oversight in terms of enforcing branding, enforcing design principles that are consistent in every product you see that, out there when it comes to what you may sell to customers, but is often not reflected in internal products, and that's really important. So all this is really extending the capability of our internal data professionals, and we're already using Assist today to exactly do that, to extend out the functionality, modify existing applications, improve the overall UI, and just also ask it, optimize the application you have to hand that's already been built. And so that's where we're seeing a lot of value and extending things out from our point of view. And I think this is something that we think about in the custom application world is often we've always been limited by having the functionality and the content, but we're trying to put things out there in dashboards or trying to figure out the right way to get information out there. In the software world, you're generally starting with a well-designed product at the top, but often you're limited by that bottleneck of the analyst providing the integrations, the data, the SQL queries, the information, and that always breaks down over the long run. And so what we see is by combining AI Assist with the knowledge of our data professionals, we're really being able to actually deliver value and actually scale up our products much more effectively. So it's something I'm super excited to see the development of. This is actually one of the areas that I really see AI getting actually real world impact in terms of the value we can deliver as a team, and really it's been great to work with the team here. And so with that, I'll welcome back on the stage, I think, Abhishek.
Thank you, Hamish. It's amazing to see all the great things that Motive has accomplished on Retool's AppGen platform. We're so excited to continue supporting them on their journey. Now, we mentioned earlier that Hamish is a great example of this new class of builder, someone who's percolating to all parts of an enterprise. And we also know earlier that about 50% of our builders are developers, software engineers. In fact, we looked at the titles, all of you attending today. And we saw about half of you are also software engineers. And that's because you're builders. But the other half of you are domain experts. You're go-to-market engineers, business analysts, data analysts, operations experts. And you're close to your business problems. You're both motivated and able to solve these challenges by building applications. And Retool is a platform that lets you be a builder too. And that's because we just made it so easy for you to ship applications. We've shrunk that gap from an idea to production. OK, let's move on to the second piece. How do you scale with consistency? This is important because when building gets this fast and easy, a new challenge emerges: chaos. When you unleash builders across your organization, you get more apps and more innovation. But you also get duplicated logic, inconsistent UIs, and teams just constantly reinventing the wheel. And so instead of scaling innovation, you start scaling complexity. With Retool, we want to flip that equation. With Retool, innovation should compound. It should increase quality, not chaos. So to help you scale Retool across your organization, we're going to talk about 3 new capabilities today. And we'll release these in a structured way that all build on top of each other. So the first one, reusable functions. This is all about creating and sharing complex logic so that you can finally eliminate that duplication in organizations. This is all about ensuring that when you build something once, you can use it everywhere. because nobody likes to rewrite the same query in every single new app that they create. And to use it, we'll make it accessible for you right here in the canvas. You can start chaining all kinds of complex things here. And you can think of these like queries, but just much more powerful. You'll be able to bring in sources from multiple different data sources together. And because they're running on the back end, they're going to be more performant and more secure. And you can just do more complex things. But importantly, these will be shareable across not just your apps, but agents and workflows too. Next, we'll launch libraries. Libraries will allow you to store all your Retool primitives as building blocks so that you can easily discover and share these across your organization. And to use these, it's as simple as just asking Assist to import them. And what's great about libraries is they'll use everything that you've already built in Retool. Components, modules, workflows, agents, functions. You'll be able to version and permission your libraries, so only the right people and the right systems can access them. This is how we believe you'll enable consistency across your organization. But we go a step further. What if your builders didn't have to think about queries or tables at all? Let's take a look at semantic objects. Semantic objects will allow all the builders, like Hamish, tomorrow's builders, to build secure applications on Retool. And it'll be by default. How? Because platform teams will be able to define the actual objects, like employees, orders, customers. And these builders, what they will get out of this is a guarantee on security, correctness, and consistency. So let me share a little bit about how it works. First, we'll help you stitch together all your data into a single place. So let's say, for example, you want to build an employees object. You can bring your data together from HR systems like Workday, recruiting systems like Greenhouse, payroll systems like ADP. We'll help you connect all that data together. Then, we'll help you clearly define the logic that allows you to take actions on top of this data. So let's say, for example, you had an employee record that was updated in one system or added. We'll help you build a logic that allows you to update another system. And then finally, you'll be able to define permissions. Permissions will define who and what can access data and what they can do with it. And so now, a human resources manager, when they look at this app, when they use this app, they'll need access to employee payroll data, but an IT manager does not. And so each semantic object will bundle together the data, the logic, and the permissions together. And instead of now making your builders stitch raw queries together, they'll work with objects like these: employees, orders, customers. And for the first time, that means an employee means the same thing to someone in HR, IT, or finance. And it makes Retool feel more like a language that your whole business can build with. That is a core idea behind semantic objects: reusable building blocks. Now, we believe this is truly groundbreaking because you can now build apps at a much higher level. And so to use it, it's really easy. When you're building an app, you can just point your table source to this employee data, and everything is built in from the beginning. And let's see what happens when you publish it for others to use. When you view it as the head of HR, because you have access to a lot more things, you can see all kinds of sensitive data, like compensation data, performance ratings for every single employee. But let's say you're a manager. You can actually view far less information, far less sensitive information. And it depends on who you're managing, who you're not managing. And then when an employee sees someone's profile, well, they get access to far less information. The beauty of this is that the builder who built this didn't have to think about any of this. It just worked. Permissions followed the role automatically. Security and governance were built in from the start. And our AI followed the guardrails. And so now, trust was built into every single interaction with semantic objects. And so what's really great is functions, libraries, and semantic objects will all build on the foundations you've already created in Retool, and they'll build on each other. That's how we believe you'll scale across your organizations. Instead of chaos, you'll have order. And everything you create in Retool will finally strengthen the whole ecosystem. So we've covered how to build instantly, how to scale consistently. But how do you make sure that everything you build is secure, reliable, and production ready? We all know from you that the last mile of software development is always the hardest. That last 10% sucks. Sometimes takes just as long as the first 90%. It's where all the pesky and long-tail issues show up. Bugs, performance issues, meeting your security standards, deployment issues. We just don't think builders should have to solve for any of this. And our philosophy here is very simple. The platform should solve it for you. And so to do this, we're going to release 3 new capabilities to help you manage confidently. First, expert agents to secure and optimize your apps. 2, native testing to ensure quality at scale. And then 3, a brand new hosting option for the ultimate flexibility. Let's talk about the first one. We're going to first introduce expert agents. These agents won't be used for helping you build your apps. You can think of these more as like specialized agents, special forces running 24/7 in the background, constantly focused on making your apps better. They're going to raise the quality bar on your apps automatically. Let's look at the first one. You can ask an expert agent to just help you when you're building an app. This is our performance agent. It found an optimization to make on a query. And guess what? It was pretty significant in improving the loading time. And more importantly, it explained what it did. So the next time, you won't repeat that same mistake. But we also have another one, a security agent. They'll help you build more apps, be more secure. They'll check for permissions, enforce your standards, and look for any loopholes. In this example, you can see it found a pretty significant vulnerability. After it reviewed the app, it found there was a hard-coded API key and then stored it securely. We believe this is so amazing for you builders because this is how you can build fast and securely. But that's not all. We also have a debugging agent. You can see here, it found some pretty significant errors in a couple of queries. And it changed how you view the data in this app. These are the kind of things that we think you can use to really build great applications on Retool. And so expert agents means fewer outages, stronger compliance, and just more peace of mind, because everything you build is going to be enterprise grade. But even when you have expert agents in place, you still need to know that your apps work end-to-end, not just piece by piece. Today, we hear from you that testing is painful because it's done manually, and it takes forever. But like I said before, we believe the platform should do it for you. Builders need automated capabilities to remove this burden of manual testing. So that's exactly what our new built-in native testing will do. It's going to live right here in the app builder experience. And creating a test is as simple as just using an app as a user would. And then as you use it, tests are automatically created, and you can see when things will pass or fail. We want to take the pain out of testing and give you the confidence that everything you're building is enterprise ready. But finally, even if you built the perfect app, tested it thoroughly, it still has to live somewhere in production. And all too often, we hear that, well, hosting is where sometimes you have the biggest challenges. Now, today, many of you self-host on Retool. Why is that? Because it gives you the flexibility to connect to your data. It gives you power. It gives you sovereignty and control. And it's just plain convenient. But you also miss out on the benefits of the cloud. You have to manually upgrade. You have to manually scale. And it just takes time and resources. That's why today, I'm so thrilled to announce the general availability of our brand new self-hosted but retool-managed deployment option. Many of you require self-hosting, but you want the convenience of the cloud. So that's exactly what this does. All you have to do is simply deploy Retool in your private cloud. And we'll manage everything. We'll manage the infra. We'll manage the scaling, the upgrades. Your data never leaves your environment. Your data is secure and compliant so that you have the ultimate flexibility and ease to run Retool your way. The team has been working on this for over a year, and so we're so excited that you can finally start using it. We're starting with AWS starting today, and we'll be expanding to more cloud providers very soon. So that's how we think we'll help you manage confidently. Expert agents, native testing, and a brand new hosting option. So we talked about building, scaling, managing. But we all know that individual apps are just one piece of a larger process, a larger business process. And the real transformation happens when we need to start automating problems in a business. And most business software isn't just about apps. W. Edward Deming, the father of quality management, said, if you can't describe what you're doing as a process, well, you don't know what you're doing. We believe a business is a collection of a thousand untold processes. And this is where we believe AI will have its greatest impact, when it's deeply embedded in your business processes. In fact, this is why we originally built Retool Workflows. It's a visual automation engine that helps you orchestrate the processes that run behind the scenes. And you can think of workflows as the nervous system for internal software. You can move data between systems, stitch logic across your systems, trigger actions. And because it shares the same resources as apps across, and for your enterprise and for security, every workflow is ready to go, secure by default. Today, over 10.5 million workflows run on Retool every single day. This is where we see apps and automation starting to converge on a single platform for your business processes. Now, to show you what this looks like at incredible scale, I'm going to invite a very special guest to the audience, or to the stage. If you've ever had anything delivered from Apple, Domino's, Tesco, and you've had it delivered on the same day, this is a guy whose platform makes it happen. And this platform handles millions of transactions. There's absolutely zero margin for error. And it shows the gigantic scale that Retool can support. So please join me in welcoming Birger Ebersohn from Uber. Birger, take it away.
Please welcome to the stage, Birger Ebersohn, Uber, Global Head of Partner Engineering.
Hey everyone, thank you. Yeah, I'm Birger from Uber, and I'm not going to talk too much about AI today, but that is an AI-generated image, just to start off with, so just saying. Yeah, we've been using Retool for basically enabling our partner engineers to do more integration work and connect with partner systems all over the world. You mentioned a couple of those, and I'm excited to say we managed over 1,500 applications in our team. Not all of them on Retool, though, but getting there. My boss actually said it best once. He said that we are one of the few companies that actually have APIs that move people and things around. So it's kind of cool to think about how we can control the movement of actual physical beings through our APIs. And Retool has really made it easy for us to do that at scale. Yeah, we also created this whole team and organization around it, and a program called BBU, built by Uber, because now we've empowered our own team to build this ourselves. Previously, we were dependent on third-party contractors, technical teams from partners, or just kind of like core engineering teams who didn't have the same priorities as maybe we had and our partners had. So Retool has really allowed us to kind of move into that space and create this program of BBU. We have also a cool slogan for it, which is called JFBI, and I'll let you figure out what that means as I go along. Yeah, so putting the engineering back in partner engineering, that is literally important to me because we face partners, and that's an important part. We need to make sure that all of Uber's partners are happy, the technology works for every delivery, for every transaction, and we are partner-facing, so we get the heat when things go wrong, and we get the heat when things move slowly. So what Retool allowed us to do is really just do engineering again. So you've heard a lot about this new breed of builder, this new type of person who can actually kind of move things and do it by themselves, and Retool has really helped us to unlock that. So we obviously have taken a very serious approach by standardizing a lot of it, creating proper change control processes around it, ensuring that we do things in compliant ways, and that is a part of the program, but Retool really makes that a lot easier. And I'm super excited to hear about some of the stuff that they just announced, because that'll make it even more easy for us to kind of manage this at scale. Yeah, I think the big point here is that Retool really empowers us, and the point is that technology or integration can no longer be the blocker to a business deal. There's no opportunity where we can say, like, we cannot have this partnership, or this thing can't go live because we have some sort of like tech blocker or delay in integration. So that's really one of the key points that Retool allows us to kind of celebrate every day. We also obviously, at Uber's scale, reliability and observability, and those things are really important to us. So we make sure that we maintain 4 nines at least, in some cases 5 nines, and Retool has given us commitments to be able to kind of advertise that. So when we say our integration layer is available, it's available all the time, not just sometimes. And the volumes that we are starting to put through there are quite significant, and I'm really excited to see kind of just how the system is holding up. Obviously, I don't want to say anything to jinx us, but like, we haven't had any major issues since we started using Retool, and hopefully that continues to be the case. So yeah, I think the other thing that Retool allowed us to do is really just create like quality programs around our integration. So now that we control the integrations, we can really see what the features are doing and how it's performing. So when we see small things that aren't working, even operationally, in the delivery world, it's really just logistics, right? Getting people to do things at the right times. And sometimes you can tweak small things in API behavior and make big differences in the kind of logistics flow. So with Retool, it really allows us to kind of go and tweak minuscule things that have like big impact in the larger program. And then the last thing I'll mention before I get into some of the logos is that we created a tool that actually allows us to certify our integrations automatically using AI. So our partners go through a process where they integrate, sometimes not Uber built, but partner built. But we've created a program on Retool that allows us to kind of validate what that application is doing, look at our API behavior, and actually tell them whether or not they've implemented the APIs correctly. And if they didn't, we even give them feedback on what they should change. We can even generate code samples for them and say, this is like how you should be adopting that endpoint, or how you should be using that object. So it's really helped us automate our certification. So when an integration goes live, we basically know it's at 100% quality, and it does everything we expect it to do. And that's all powered by Retool. All right. So a bunch of cool logos on here. Obviously, very, very exciting team that we're part of, because we work with these partner teams every day. These are Fortune 50 companies. They are amazing technology companies, and they are really demanding. Not in a bad way, but like, they expect a lot from us, and so Uber expects the same from our partners. So I mean, some of the cool examples here on the integration side, kind of the left-hand side of the screen, is what we wanted Retool for. We wanted power back, and we wanted to build these integrations ourselves, and we've done a bunch of that already, and that kind of works exactly the way we want it to work. I'm very excited about the McDonald's launch, which is imminent, and we're going to put significant volume through that, hopefully very soon. But the right-hand side of the screen was kind of like a surprise. It's something we didn't really anticipate, but when we started using Retool, we realized, oh, we can like create little plugins, and they called it hacks before, but I told them to rebrand to plugins, because like generally speaking, people don't like to hear hacks. So we renamed it plugins, but really what these things are is like, I mentioned before, like those specific operational metrics. You see a courier is arriving too early, too frequently, and they stand at the restaurant and they wait for your food to be ready. And we basically realized that the stores don't have good quality data of how long do we need to give the courier before they get there. And we have better metrics on Uber side, so we can actually change and modify those transactions by doing like API calls and updating timestamps and doing small tweaks on the transaction level, which then like just makes the entire experience a lot better overall. So the whole right-hand side of the screen is like things that we built with Retool that we didn't even expect that we were going to build. And to be honest, we've built like I think 35 of those in the last year, and a lot of them have very, very significant dollar value and impact across the world. Yeah, and even, I mean, this Olive Garden one is an interesting example just because it was a big launch. Uber Direct was a big exclusive partnership they announced a couple of months ago, and we've been doing a lot of Olive Garden deliveries. But it was a very complex project and a very hands-on project, and we realized we didn't really have like a good way to communicate with them because they use like SharePoint and they're a Microsoft shop, and we don't use SharePoint. And so we just built a Retool Dash to manage the entire project and do the validation of the API integrations, do the quality, and show them the metrics of how their API is behaving or their integration is behaving. And we did it all in Retool as well. So it really just helped us kind of like gain that extra bit of trust and efficiency within the project. So a couple of more examples, and I just wanted to call these out. I name dropped a few of my team members. I hope they see this if they're out there. Again, these aren't back-end engineers. These are partner engineers, some of them with varying skill sets. Some of them are good engineers, so I just want to give them credit. Sorry, guys. Some of you are really good engineers. But we were able to do a lot of cool things. And I love the quote from one of our operations leads there in the UK. We were launching with Tesco, and we realized really late last minute that some of the things weren't working the way we wanted to, and the team were able to kind of build a plugin that allowed us to kind of modify the transactions and get the results we wanted, and we could then scale and launch Tesco as intended. And it's a very big business opportunity for us there that we were able to unlock with Retool very, very last minute. And yeah, I think some of the obvious things that people probably do, but for us it wasn't an obvious thing either, was this like a technical support dashboard. So we have these large partners, point-of-sale companies like Toast, and basically they have a large number of support tickets that they get from merchants and say, I worked all night with my mom to update her pizza menu, and I put it on the POS, but it's not on Uber Eats. What's going on? And we need that. And so they used to then create a ticket with Uber, ask us to force a refresh of the menu, get the new menu from the POS. So we just kind of gave them a tool and said, like, next time you get a request like that, because it's the majority of your requests, just hit this button on this dashboard. And we've reduced like our support tickets for this type of case by like 90%. So really cool things that you can just do. Again, not something we anticipated coming out of Retool as a value add. We were just going to build middleware integrations and an ETL layer using workflows. And I'm excited about this Apple one. So they came to us and said, like, they don't like the way our standard Uber barcode works, so they can't scan it in store. They wanted a custom type of QR code. And we used Retool to actually generate like this custom label for Apple that they can then stick on their boxes, and when couriers pick it up and they can scan it and their systems recognize it. So this is like something that would, on a logistics, if you've ever dealt with these things, they take months or years to develop like different types of label scans. So we were able to do this in less than a week. So pretty exciting stuff for us. To be honest, Shopify, there's probably a lot of people here that know and use Shopify, and that's something that we built the back end on Retool. Again, we didn't really anticipate it. We tried to build it in a different way before. It was kind of in the early days of our Retool, and we just literally last minute decided Retool can do this better. And we rebuilt the whole backend in 2 weeks for the entire Shopify integration. So it allows us to kind of pivot and realize we had issues with the previous choice of architecture, and Retool kind of saved the day. Yeah, I think that's good enough. I think the next slide, I want to just kind of go back to a couple of the core principles, like really what Retool allows us to do. So we sit in like I said, in a unique position in front of these partners. We get first-hand feedback from them. Our core product is amazing, and Uber does volumes that are staggering, but we can iterate and experiment real quickly in Retool, and then we can provide that, like, the results back to our product teams as like a formal, like every half or a quarter or whatever they do their planning, and then we can tell them, like, look, this worked really well, this drove specific metrics, and we were able to kind of like succeed in these areas, so we recommend that you invest in the core product in a similar thing. So it really helped us to kind of like not just say the partner says they want something, but we can say the partner said they wanted something, we tried it out, it worked, and it should be part of the core product. And that's really been a core part for us, like building trust with our product teams and our engineering teams. And sometimes they come to us for suggestions, right? Like, can you guys try something out? Can we work together and you can do it on Retool first, and then we see what the results are. So it really allowed us to kind of like gain next level of trust within the organization. Yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate it.
Please welcome to the stage Eric Cheng, Komatsu Australia.
In such a fast time period with the partner engineering team and to support some of the largest brands. So really awesome. Thank you again for joining. Now, one of the things we've talked about is this automation software. Business process automation software is really great for solving valuable use cases. But it's deterministic. It's process-oriented. It's step-by-step. And it's predictable. So there's a certain limit to what it can accomplish. And you've seen how AI has changed everything, especially when applied to automation software. Software doesn't look like software anymore. LLMs are doing these almost human-like creative things that just weren't conceivable of. But due to the nature of LLMs, they're non-deterministic. They can be unpredictable sometimes. It can be a black box. And sometimes it can be a little risky to use non-deterministic solutions to solve a business process. For example, I'd be quite hesitant to let an LLM manage my annual employee performance review cycle. But what if you combined them? What if you took the creative power of AI with the reliability of rule-based software, with just a touch of human judgment? We think that would change the game for enterprise software. Because now you can start performing human-like work at inhuman scales. That's what we believe the future of automation software is going to look like, and what we believe the future of how businesses will operate. So this is Retool Agents. Earlier this year, we launched Retool Agents, a full-stack toolkit for building, deploying, and managing AI agents across your enterprise systems. But what's made them uniquely powerful in Retool is that you can actually build agents with the actual tools your business needs to get the work done. And then our agents will decide for themselves what tools they need. So let me show you one in action. Here, you can see a dispute resolution agent in action. It's using a variety of tool calls. What it's doing is it's accessing open dispute data from Stripe. It's then going to start getting into CRM data from Salesforce. It's then going to query data from our own database. It's getting all open tickets. And eventually, you'll see all of it gets packaged into a submission back to Stripe. And then I also get an email. It's awesome. But what's really cool about this is we didn't tell it to solve the problem. We told it how to handle the chargeback. And it decided what tools it needed for the job. And this is just one agent, combining Stripe, Salesforce, your database, and email. But the bigger point here is that any business context that you've exposed in Retool will actually be able to be used by your agents. And so the possibilities for composition are endless. And we're so excited to see the traction that we have seen with Retool agents since launch. It's been less than 4 months, but we have over 10,000 agents built and executed, powering so many mission-critical processes. And the breadth of use cases that it's supporting is incredible. For example, we're seeing customer support, claims processing, data analysis, data enrichment, research, sales outreach, even chatbots taking action on real business data. It's inspiring to see what agents have been able to accomplish for our customers. And the impact has also been tangible. We see teams now are saving time and costs. They're getting more productivity, more throughput. And they're uncovering lots of revenue opportunities. That's the growth we see in businesses. Now, I want to invite someone to show you a real-world example of agents in action. Komatsu is one of the world's oldest and largest manufacturers of construction equipment. They have over 60,000 employees globally. And our speaker just dropped this on us yesterday. He just won the global hackathon using Retool at Komatsu. So please join me in inviting Cheng to the stage from Komatsu.
Please welcome to the stage Cheng, Komatsu Australia Enterprise Architect.
Thank you, Abhishek. Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be in San Francisco and to be able to be at this summit today and to share with you some of the work that the team back home in Australia has been working on over the past few months. So we're very fortunate to have Retool as a strategic technology partner to come on this journey with us. And the journey that I want to share with everyone today is how we at Komatsu Australia has been leveraging, this whole Retool platform, the application, the tooling, the AI agentic layer, and not just to build apps and workflows, but really redefine how our customer support center operates and deliver outcomes for our customers, as well as how our employees within the core center do work. So our Komatsu Support Center, or the KCSC for short, is really the face of our organization, right? They operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we have about 40 employees in that support center that serve our customers across Australia, New Zealand, New Caledonia, and also Papua New Guinea. So they operate in a traditional call center sense. So we have support tickets coming in across emails and phone calls, so about 9,000 phone calls, 8,000 emails per month. And these requests can pretty much range from everything, right? So, letting our customers know when they're going to receive their order, a customer asking about the service history or previous service report, or even maybe a parts diagram so they can actually install their part. We also perform a lot of administrative functions for our customers in internal branch network as well. So raising quotes, sales orders, processing purchase orders in our ERP so we can get paid, as well as helping our customers perform locks on or geofence on their machines in our Comtrax telematics system. Recently, we also added to the remit of our call center outbound sales. So they also now have a sales target. So as you can see, there's a lot of activity, a lot of customer interaction that runs through our support center. And as we all know, there's a lot of complexity. And as we all know, with complexity also comes challenges. Because our call center has operated as it has now for many, many years now. And it's worked well in the past. But like many organizations, and with all these disruptive technologies, and as our organization continues to grow, we're starting to encounter challenges and points of friction which we want to overcome. From an operational perspective, Komatsu Australia continues to grow year on year. We sell more machines, and as a direct result, our aftermarket business continues to grow for parts and service. So it's a great problem to have. But as a Japanese organization, we also ask ourselves, right, how do we balance this growth sustainably? How do we manage capacity and also headcount? And if we do hire, how do we actually get someone to be trained up and productive? Because currently it takes about 6 months for that person to be productive within that center. And there's a number of reasons for this. There's a lot of complex processes. We have regional, we have global systems that they have to navigate. So it's quite convoluted. Service quality challenges also goes hand in glove with operational challenges. So currently we have an average handling time of 5 minutes per call. And this is also something that we track in our customer NPS survey. So for us, it's not really just about maintaining the customer level or level of customer support in the face of increasing demand. It's actually how do we continue to improve it. Sales performance. In the midst of everything I talked about, right? How do we find a capacity for our employees to actually, do the research on our customers, identify sales opportunity, make those calls and reduce customer churn and generate revenue? And then lastly, as a business unit, as an organization, how do we take advantage of these technological shifts? How do we leverage AI, but in a secure and also sustainable manner, and also in a way that also aligns with our people and processes? So as you can see, there's a lot of challenges that we face and we need to overcome. But with challenges also comes opportunity. And this is where Retool really comes into the picture for us, because it's provided a holistic platform that allowed our organization or an enterprise to really operate at a startup level. We were really surprised at how quickly we were able to get Retool up and running, and then also to start developing our autonomous customer support agent POC back in April. The team at that time was completely new to Retool, and in a couple of weeks and with the support of Retool, we were able to develop and complete our POC for autonomous agents. And as mentioned before by Abhishek, in July, we were fortunate enough to be participating in our Komatsu Global Hackathon, fortunate enough to win it. But I think what it provided us was validation. Validation in our use case, but also validation in that Retool was the right platform for us. So I'm glad to say that over the past few months, since July, since the hackathon, our team has been busy working behind the scenes, productionizing this whole scope of work. In the next couple of weeks, we'll go live with phase 1 of our agentic customer care project. And this will deliver significant gains back to our business by providing customer and machine 360 to all our frontline staff, reducing the time to deliver insights to those agents, human agents, from minutes to seconds. By the end of the year, we'll also deliver and productionize our autonomous agents, and we'll be able to close the loop on improving our customer experience for those email support queries. And then lastly, in the next year, in the medium term, with these applications, with the right tools, help and support, we hope to provide a new operating model for our support center and to be able to make our people more effective sales agents, refocusing them from doing that reactive, mundane support into revenue-generating, proactive activity. So from a solution overview, right, we have the intake funnel on the left. So again, as I mentioned, support tickets come in from emails, from phone calls. What I didn't also mention was our support center also relied on a lot of Excel spreadsheets and legacy systems. And Retool provided also an opportunity for us to actually move away from Excel, modernize those applications, as well as those processes as part of process re-engineering. The agentic layer is based on Retool or built on Retool agents. And the significance of that is that we don't need to actually worry about orchestration, about the monitoring, about the memory, about evals. Retool provides everything out of the box for us so that our team could really just focus on delivering the outcome for our business. We also delivered an AI gateway in the tooling. So the tooling are basically the arms and legs of our agents. It's all built on Retool workflows. And these Retool workflows connect to our various backend systems, applications, databases, and they basically surface these information back to an LLM, back to our human agents. On the topic of human agents, there's always a human in the loop. So they're going to be at the end of every customer interaction, making sure that they have oversight of all our customer communication. So once we deliver this whole program of work in full, the value proposition for us is quite significant. Over 22,000 hours of efficiency gain in terms of productivity, in terms of modernization and process engineering. We'll be able to refocus our customer support agents to revenue-generating work and be able to contribute to that 8 million target I talked about earlier. We'll be able to reduce by 30 to 40% of our average handling time for phone calls, as well as our mean time to resolution for emails, and that will improve our customer experience. But I think the most significant for us is the transformation aspect, not just for us as a business unit or Komatsu Australia, but globally. So I'm glad to say that as part of that hackathon, it generated a lot of interest for Retool. And as part of this AI working group that we have globally, Komatsu Australia is now leading the charge in terms of developing a proposal for a low-code application development platform. So it's quite exciting there. So in summary, how has Retool enabled Komatsu? Retool's provided a holistic platform that provides the application, the workflow, the AI agentic layer. It's provided the guardrails that allowed us as an organization to really operate at a startup level, accelerate the development and time to value for our business, reduce the cost and risks for working with AI. That's quite significant for us because we have a relatively small team. And I think also, more significantly, we feel that Retool will set us up in the future to meet the demands of the organization regardless of any shifts in technology. Thank you. So I'll hand this back to Abhishek.
Thank you, Eric. It's amazing to hear what they've accomplished on agents. It's 3 weeks to create a POC. And Komatsu has shown the power of agents making an impact today. It's inspiring to see all that they have accomplished in such a short period. And there's so much we can all learn from them in how to truly use AI to transform your businesses. And when we talk about using AI to transform businesses, we talk about agents and the impact that we see with agents. We believe this is what the future of internal software is going to look like. Agents and enterprise software is the majority of the type of software we'll see is going to get created over the next few years. So there you have it. We love internal software. We're excited to build with you. We're excited because this is software that makes the world go around. We want to help you build, scale, manage, and automate. Our roadmap was built for you. Now, before I go, I want to raise a toast to all of you. The builders, the people who keep the world's businesses running every single day. Our mission has always been about bringing good software to everyone. We want to be a platform that allows you to move faster, build safely, and bring innovation to where it matters the most. So thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you.